Hi friends, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Dephemerember number 2, prompt number 2. And we are having today a big challenge of splatters and a playing card. And our animal for today is a giraffe. So I'll be honest, December is a crazy month and I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't already know. And challenges are always hard to do, even under the best of circumstances, never mind one of the months that we seem to always be pushed to the edge. I honestly don't know how Luise and Barbara does it. So today I'm only going to give myself a half an hour. That's all the time I have today. And, you know, we have to make room for ourselves, but we also have to, sometimes on days that are crazy, we have to say, okay, a half an hour is all we get. It's better than nothing, and just do it. I can't always come in my workroom and assume I'm going to have all this time. So I am going to time it. I'm looking at the clock, and I think I know what I want to do. So we're just going to get right down into it. My snack for today is inspired by the giraffe. I think if you saw my video yesterday, I told you I will not be the girl that's going to be putting the most popular snacks up there. I'm just not going to be. And today is going to be a perfect example of that. When I look at giraffes, I think about the zoo. I think about the circus. Not that I'm endorsing that whole thing with animals, but it just reminds me of a carnival and that kind of a feeling just from childhood. So it brings me back to circus peanuts. Probably one of the most non-food foods there is out there. The flavor is not anything natural. It's somewhere between orange and banana. The texture is an acquired taste. And for me, it's something about my childhood. I remember eating these with my grandfather and him sharing them with me and me feeling very special. And I just love the smell of them. I can't even explain it. If you've never had a marshmallow circus peanut, they're very hard to explain. It's like eating a piece of styrofoam or packing peanut combined with the most artificial flavor you can imagine. And I personally am like kind of a healthy person. I don't like artificial colors. I have my own vegetables, but there's a balance, right? I mean, everything in moderation. And we should be allowed everything in moderation, even if moderation is a circus peanut. I don't know if you can see that texture. I even like them when they're really stale. I don't even really like marshmallow. I can't even consider this a marshmallow. I don't even know what I consider this. It's definitely a fake food. It's definitely non-GMO because there's nothing in it that could be even modified from nature. I still like it. Don't yuck my yum, as my cousin Sue says. So, here we go. I have the giraffe from, I watched Barbara's video this morning, and when I saw her bring up this giraffe, I thought this is perfect. I really like the giraffe that Luise provided for us, but it really, you know, how can you not love this giraffe? Just like watercolor, sweet giraffe with this sweet little face. And truth be told, my original thought was, because I like to tell stories, my original thought was that I was going to make a poker playing retired giraffe that wore tortoiseshell glasses, and I was going to have a whole personality for her. I think I even named her in my mind Gertie. And as much as I would love to make Gertie the poker playing giraffe, I don't think I could do it in half an hour. So instead, I am going to make something I think I can make in a half an hour. And my inspiration for this was looking at this beautiful giraffe graphic and its beautiful long neck. and I thought about how fun would it be if you woke up one morning. I know how when I wake up, if I look outside and I see a deer in my yard, I actually saw a moose in my yard twice. Like, that was super exciting for me. Can you imagine what it would be like to open your window and see a giraffe looking back at you? So that is the inspiration of my day, a giraffe looking at me through my window. So because card is the thing that we're doing, well, first of all, I am going to take my sheet out because I think it will be easier to manage. And I am going to show you that today this is my playing card. And I chose number 2 because it is the second day of our challenge. And I'm going to try to attempt. I really liked this playing card. It's a vintage playing card. And I really liked the design on it. And what I was thinking was, what if this was my window? What if I lived somewhere that had these beautiful decorations around the window? Or what if I was on vacation and this was a tile around the window, like a beautiful tiled window? Now, I don't know where I would need to be to have a giraffe look in my window, but since this is a fantasy anyway, I'm just going to say that I'm somewhere exotic. I'm certain there are giraffes in Africa, but I'm not sure that this is consistent with Africa. But Morocco, I believe. But I don't think Morocco has giraffes. They have camels, but I don't think they have giraffes. But anyway, I just like the idea of the giraffe looking through the window. So what I was thinking is, first of all, I have to see if the giraffe will even fit. It will. And I like that maybe half of it would be out and maybe just a little bit poking in. But then I was thinking, what if the window is this way? And then there's a second window and the second part of the neck was down there. So I'm going to cut out this one too, which is also a 2. I kind of feel bad wasting that number 2 because we're not going to see it. But there's 2 hearts, and I do know that that's a 2, and that could still represent our day. So I'm going to cut this one as well. And this is where I'm just going to do a voiceover and speed it along because we've all seen cutting. It's nothing new and nothing exciting. So I'm doing you all a favor. Just cut it out, cutting out the windows, then tracing the inside of the windows onto the background paper and cutting that out. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So now these windows would be in my room, and they're going to make my window around the window. So I want to make a texture. I'm going to pretend that I'm somewhere that there's a texture on the wall. So I'm going to need, let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to use a stencil, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking several different colors of Tim Holtz inks. I think I have like a corduroy and maybe pumice and vintage photo, and I'm just kind of going over the same areas with the stencil to make it darker and to give it, I don't know, dimension? I'm not a stencil expert. I just do what I feel. It's just gut instinct. Okay, now we need to put some splatters. And I know this isn't technically splatters in the sense that, you know, it's not as organic of a splatter, but it still is a splatter. It still has the effect of a splatter. And because I'm in a rush, I am not going to mix paint and make that kind of commitment. I do, however, let's see how this looks now. All right, I need some color now. Let's see what other colors I could mix into my, I also need to, where's my giraffe? See, this is what I do. I have my items and then I lose my items. So my giraffe needs to be like coming through the window here. And I want the neck to be behind here. See, it's the longest giraffe neck ever. Okay, I want some color. There's some blue in there. So let's see if we can get some blue texture in there. Actually, this would be where a good blue paint splatter could be. So hold on. Okay, the blue splatters are in. I think that makes a huge difference. And now I can officially say I splattered. I know it looks like the outside of a building. So perhaps the story is not that I'm looking out the window and there's a giraffe. Perhaps the story is I am in a country and I'm walking down the street, feasting my eyes on the interesting surroundings. And I walk by and there's a giraffe inside a building. That would certainly get my attention. So, having said that, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to stitch a vine on the outside. I don't have the vine stitch on my sewing machine, so I'm just going to make some straight stitches and stitch a vine on the outside of the building. Okay, I put some stitches right there, and I honestly think that I may have spent more time changing the thread than anything else I'll probably do tonight. So let's stick this window on. And then I have some die cut really funky flowers that I thought kind of enhanced or kind of like played into this really kind of wild. If I take off some of these leaves, put them on the vine. That. Okay, voiceover time. I'm just going to be placing the leaves and the flowers in the places that I think fit the best. Again, just going on instinct, just playing around. For the most part, what you're seeing me do today, totally not my style. This is not the kind of thing I do normally. And this is why I think challenges like this are so important, because they really free you up to play and to just experiment. And it's really good mental gymnastics. It's really fun. It's puts you outside of your comfort zone. And, you know, I'm making a page about a giraffe that I've seen when I'm walking through an imaginary vacation. Like, what is that? That's not like our normal everyday junk journaling. I'm usually trying to curate papers and make things really pretty, and today I'm just having fun. That's the whole goal of this, and I am having fun. It's really challenging and good, and so now I'm gonna just put Gertie, I'm putting her through the window and I'm sticking her down with tape so that she stays in place. I'm going to glue the whole paper on the back, but still I want the specific giraffe pieces to stay in place. So I'm going to put some glue on them and some washi tape. And that way I can be sure that she'll just be stuck there forever in all her Gertie glory. Okay, so now I need something on the back to frame her. I have this playing card paper, which could be like the roof of the house, and then I'm again How about music paper? There's not enough contrast. Oh, I like ledger paper. Ledger paper's nice. Let's just glue it on and then I can trim it after. This is probably not the time to break open a new product, but hey, no guts, no glory. I got these as a birthday gift, and I have not had a chance to use them. So why not? Why not? So I'll need to have some water available. So my birthday was in October, and this is the first time I'm actually breaking the seal on these Tim Holtz watercolor crayons or pencils. And I have to say that I'm really surprised. They are really good. I love the color with the water, and I'm getting excellent pigment just from the first batch down to the second batch. I have to touch it up a little, but it really moves well with the water. So I'm really pleased, and I'm really excited to play with them in the future. So now I'm taking a piece of scrapbook paper, yellow, because yellow seems to be the theme here, and I'm going to make a little roof for my outside building that I'm walking by. And this has numbers all over them. There's a lot of 2s on it. I really like it. And if you really looked carefully, you could have seen how crooked I cut this. And when I trim off the ledger, it's going to be so apparent to me how crooked it is that then I'm going to need to retrim it. And as you can see, I cut over one flower and under another because I want there to be some sticking off and some that are flush. Again, just kind of staggering the, I don't know, I don't want to say the texture, but I just don't like things to be expected and even. So, I have a lot of problems, believe me, people, but OCD is not one of them. So, if you have OCD, I'm sorry. I'm probably not the person for you. And so here we go. I'm just folding the roof over, and I'm going to actually ink the edges, which I'll gloss over with editing because, again, who needs to see inking or cutting? So I'm trying to find this blue flower, which I had on the top, and I really loved it, and it just doesn't fit. And then I it kind of looks like a adornment. Let me just put it in the middle of the roof. I don't know why, just because it feels right. And hey, I'm just playing anyway. There are no junk journal police that are going to come and tell me it's wrong. So there it is. That's where it's going, right over Gertie. That's fine. So I'm just going to do some final trimming here and making sure the roof isn't stuck down. I like it to be a little 3D. I'm going to ink it. Here's the inking I told you about. See how I gloss it over? You're welcome. You don't need to see that. And now I'm going to take the cards and just trim them out. This is the center of the cards, but I want to make sure they're on there because it's kind of a nod to, you know, number 2. This is the second prompt. And I'm going to make a little collage in the corner just because, you know, it is collage, it is junk journaling. This is all fantasy and this is not real life. So yes, I can have a couple cards collage down the corner. I'm going to take that beautiful butterfly that was in the freebie and add that to the collage. Just cutting out. I know it's so exciting, isn't it? Okay, I'm almost done, I promise. Okay, so now I'm going to, oh, look at me. I'm going to take a second watercolor. This is more of like the maroonish brown that's in Gertie and the giraffe. I want to make some contrast in the back of the cards so they stand out more. If I just glue them down, they're fine, but I just need a little dimension. I need a little contrast in the back there. So I'm just like scribbling around, and then I'm going to get some water and move that color around. I really think it's going to add to that little collage. We'll see. It's all experiment. There we go. And I'm just going to add a little to the frame. Now, let's add a little to the top frame too. Let's just make it a little muted and add a little bit of highlights and lowlights or whatever we call them. I don't know. Do I really know what I'm doing? I don't know. Just having fun. And, oh, I got this pad at a flea market, for $2. It's a really old Tim Holtz, really old. Some of them are used. It didn't matter to me. I picked 3 words that stood out to me when I opened the page, and that is what I'm putting down. And it's kind of like the sentiment to what I think this page means to me. It's, let's see, do you see the words I chose? It says, encourage magical possibilities. Wow, I'm kind of a poet. I'm really deep. Actually, it's Tim Holtz. It's his words. I just put them together. I'm not really a poet or deep. Well, maybe a little deep sometimes. Okay, this is a little piece of paper that I had from yesterday. Remember we made the moon? This is the excess moon corner. This is why you keep all your scraps, people. You never know when you'll need them. I decided to put them on the back of the words because the words just weren't standing out, because this is kind of a light page. There's not a lot of dark. So I'm just going to put the words on them to highlight them, and hopefully that'll make it look really pretty. And yay, half an hour. Here's my little page. This is Gertie in all her beautiful gloriness. I'm sorry, Gertie. I would let you play poker. I just didn't have the time. I know, look at her. She's like looking at me with those beautiful eyes, and she wants to play poker. She's wanting to know where her tortoise shell glasses are. I'm sorry, but you're still beautiful looking through the window, and I want to figure out where you live so I can go on vacation and walk by you. And now I need to add more splatters because we're never done. Okay, almost done. And here we go. I hope you guys liked it. She was so fun. This was fun. I never would have made a giraffe page. I love Gertie. And I hope I can play Texas Hold'em with her one day, because I hear she's a really awesome poker player. Thank you guys for showing up. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.